Hello and welcome to Therian Nation. I'm your host, George Ross. In this video we will delve into the various types of shifts experienced by Therians. If you have not watched Introduction to Modern Therianthropy, or Therianthropy Terms and Definitions, we recommend that you do so first. Shifting has been discussed since the beginning of the online Therian community. Your Best Mental Transformation is a discussion that took place on alt.horror.werewolves on December 1st, 1993. In that same discussion, one of the members mentions having an out-of-body experience, which we now refer to as a bilocation shift. What do we mean by a shift? A shift is a temporary change of state where a therianthrope becomes more instinctual or animalistic as the theriotype becomes more dominant in a non-physical manner. Shifts can occur in varying strength and frequency and be both a positive or negative experience. Shifts can be voluntary or involuntary, and different types of shifts can occur simultaneously. It is important to note that shifting is not necessary to identify as Therian. Con-Therians are always in an animalistic state because their human and animal selves or minds have fully integrated. These individuals have animalistic experiences, they just don't need to shift to do so. This state of integration is usually found in older Therians who have been aware of their therianthropy for several years. But younger Therians have also experienced this integration and have classified themselves as Con-Therians. Also, a person does not need to experience every type of shift to identify as Therian. Some Therians will only ever experience one type of shift. Before we get into the types of therianthropic shifts, we must use some discretion. Be aware that having a single shift, or even several shifts, does not mean that you should assume, without a doubt, that you are Therian. It is important to remain mindful and not to jump to conclusions. The same goes for finding a theriotype. We must carefully consider what experiences are relevant. There are rational explanations for why we may experience shifts that have nothing to do with therianthropy or being Therian. All humans can have similar experiences or sensations to these types of shifts. We must remain mindful and cautious that we are not simply imagining these sensations or potentially tricking our minds. We recommend reading the article Believe It or Not, written by Mira, which can be found on Project Shift. Now let's move on to the types of therianthropic shifts. Mental shift. This term indicates a temporary change in mindset towards thinking like a non-human creature. The human body stays physically unchanged. This shift can be very mild to very strong, and any level in between. During mild shifts, part of the human mentality is maintained. A mental shift can sometimes happen unintentionally, or the shifter can sometimes cause it voluntarily, or even suppress it. Mental shifts can happen in the midst of any emotional state. A strong mental shift can make a person lose the ability to think in words in favor of thinking in pure awareness. If you know that you are prone to shifts of this type, it is good to learn the sensations that are precursors so that you can find a safe and private place to experience your shift. Phantom shift, where a Therian experiences phantom limbs or a full phantom body. This is a phenomenon that refers to the sensation of having a non-human body part attached to the human body. The most common example of this feeling is that of having a moving tail. Phantom limbs can even overlap the normal limbs of the body, such as feeling paws instead of hands. The specific ways in which these can be experienced varies vastly, but included amongst them are a diversity of levels of realism, some being very minor, to some even being so intense that the phantom parts feel almost entirely real, regardless of the fact that they are non-physical. Some phantom parts are constant, but the ones referred to in this definition are those that are temporary and shift in and out of occurrence. Other effects associated with some phantom parts include pain or discomfort in, on, or associated with the phantom part. Movement, voluntary or involuntary, of the phantom body part, and reactions to outside real stimuli such as objects, sounds, movements, or other things, and so forth. Project Shift. One does not need to be Therian or an amputee to experience phantom limbs. Experiments prove that people can be fooled into thinking another object, or even an invisible limb, is a part of them. This deception is known as the rubber hand illusion. Please see links in the description to learn more. Sensory shifting, also known as a sense shift, is considered to be a little different from a mental shift. It is a type of shift where a Therian's senses become more like that of their animal. The shifter will feel somewhat animalistic, alert, very aware, and often have a pleasurable, heightened sense of their physical body. It can occur along with some other types of shifts. Sensory shifting does not make senses more powerful. Focusing attention on certain senses, such as smell, can allow us to pick up more smells than usual. It is important to note that this is a heightening of focus rather than a heightening of the sense itself. Our senses may feel more keen during these times of focus, but sense shifting cannot increase perception beyond the physical limitations of the human body. Hypersensitivity is a similar experience, which can also occur in humans for various reasons. Sensory shifting can be helpful in determining a stereotype, as animals preferentiate some senses over others. Ask yourself, what senses are most prevalent during a shift? Canines, for example, understand the world primarily through smell. Emotional shift. When you shift during a certain emotional state, like stress or anger, usually occurs in conjunction with another type of shift. Cameo shift. A shift into an animal that is not a person's stereotype. For example, if a cat therian, who has never experienced a dog mentality, shifts into a canine, this is a cameo shift. A cameo shift should not be a sole consideration as evidence of being polytherian. Some theorize that a cameo shift could be due to an individual having a spirit guide or power animal instead. Dream shift, a type of non-physical transformation which occurs in a dream as an individual becomes partially or entirely his/her stereotype within said dream. The dream might include the experience of transformation into that creature. A dream shift can occur in both lucid and non-lucid states. Never automatically assume that seeing yourself as an animal in a dream means that you are therian or that that animal is your stereotype. Many other experiences, research, and introspection should also be taken into consideration when deciding whether or not you identify as therian. Seeing oneself as an animal in a dream, other than one's known stereotype, may be a dream cameo shift, and does not always indicate that one is a polytherian. Not every dream is relevant to one's therianthropy. Astral shift occurs most often during sleep or when a therian enters a spiritual trance, travels out of body to an astral plane, spirit world, and shifts his/her astral body to the form of a non-human animal. Aura shifting, when a person changes the shape of their auric field or energy field to that of the stereotype. Spiritual shifting, similar to astral and aura shifting, when your spiritual self is turned into your stereotype. Any person that can astral project can perform this shift, since it takes place in a non-physical plane. Bilocation shift. Bilocation is the phenomenon of being in two places simultaneously, a shift in which the shifter's stereotype leaves their human body and materializes elsewhere. It is very similar to an out-of-body experience, but instead of the spirit body being shaped like the human body, it is shaped like the stereotype. It is important to note that there is no proof of auras, astral travel, or out-of-body experiences. We do need to be aware that there are alternate explanations to aura, astral, and bilocation shifting. They may not necessarily be spiritual in nature, but may be explained by ordinary events. Astral shifts could be the result of our brains trying to process their surroundings, and the result of sensory fatigue, a well-documented effect that is at work in those able to perceive common optical illusions. Seeing auras or outlines around people or objects can simply be due to eye fatigue or other natural perceptual processes. Please see links in the description to learn more. Physical shift, the transformation of a human body into the physical shape of another creature. There is no scientific evidence for this type of shift ever having happened, and no reasonable evidence that it ever could. The therian community agrees that physical shifting is impossible, and it is usually taboo to bring up a discussion about the subject. Remember to critically reflect on your experiences when deciding whether or not you are therian and/or otherkin. Question yourself thoroughly and be honest with yourself. Don't be afraid to ask yourself if your experiences are genuine. It is okay to explore ideas surrounding therianthropy and to conclude that one is not therian. Therian Nation would like to say thank you to all the members of the community who have made suggestions and helped us gather information. Links to public sources for this video have been provided in the description below. The next video will go more in depth about psychological therianthropy. If you have any questions, you're welcome to leave us a comment or send a message. Therian Nation will answer to the best of our knowledge and ability. Subscribe to Therian Nation to learn and to stay informed about therianthropy and the therian community. Thank you.